We come to the third featherweight boxing title history video. So, come from David, so September the 20th, 1975, David Cote of Ghana wins on points over 15 rounds against Ruben Olivares in Inglewood. So that was the last one. It's going to go from there. March 6th, 1976. David Cote wins. In the 12th round, referee stops the fight against Flipper Ihara from Japan. 12 rounds, referee stops the fight. That was in Accra, Ghana. Then July the 16th, 1976, David Cote wins. In the 3rd round, referee stops the fight against Chigio Fukuyama from Japan. 3rd round, referee stops the fight at Tokyo, Japan. And then November the 5th, 1976, Danny Little Red Lopez, cracking little fighter from the US, wins on points over 15 rounds against David Cote from Ghana. That was in Accra, Ghana. September the 13th, 1975, Danny Little Red Lopez, very exciting fight. He used to get knocked down and knock people down, right banger himself as well. He wins in the 7th round. Referee stops the fight against Jose Torres from Mexico, and that was in Los Angeles. February the 15th, 1978, Danny Little Red Lopez wins. In the 6th round, referee stops the fight against David Cote, and that's in Las Vegas, Nevada. Then April the 23rd, 1978, Danny Little Red Lopez wins. In the 6th round, referee stops the fight against Jose de Paula from Brazil, and that's in Los Angeles. September the 15th, 1978, Danny Little Red Lopez wins in the 2nd round by KO against Jorge Malvarez from Argentina in New Orleans. Then October the 21st, 1978, Danny Little Red Lopez wins in the 4th round. Danny Little Red Lopez wins in the 4th round by disqualification against Foul Clemente from Philippines. That was in Pesaro, Italy. Then March the 10th, 1979, Danny Little Red Lopez wins by KO in the 2nd round against Roberto Castanon from Spain in Salt Lake City, Utah. Then June the 17th, 1979, Danny Little Red Lopez wins by KO in the 15th round against Mike Ayala from the US. That was in San Antonio, Texas. Then September the 25th, 1979, Danny Little Red Lopez wins in the 3rd round. Referee stops the fight against Jose Caba from Dominican Republic in Los Angeles. Then February the 2nd, 1980, Salvador Sanchez from Mexico wins. Referee stops the fight in the 13th round against Danny Little Red Lopez. So I used to have that on VHS, that fight, cracking fight. And the zooming out one comes later. But again, that was his last fight. But let's digress there. So come back there. So Salvador Sanchez beats Danny Little Red Lopez in the 13th round. Referee stops the fight in Phoenix, Arizona. Then April the 12th, 1980, Salvador Sanchez wins on points over 15 rounds against Ruben Castillo from the US in Tucson, Arizona. Then June 21st, 1980, Salvador Sanchez wins, this time in the 14th round, referee stopping the fight against Danny Little Red Lopez, and that was in Las Vegas, Nevada. September the 13th, 1980, Salvador Sanchez wins on points over 15 rounds against Pat Ford from Guyana in San Antonio, Texas. Then December the 13th, 1980, Salvador Sanchez wins on points over 15 rounds against Juan Laporte from Puerto Rico. That was 15 rounds points decision. And Paso. One of the first fighters I saw, John Laporte fighting McGuigan. Yes. So, March 22nd, 1981, Salvador Sanchez wins in the 10th round referee stops the fight against Roberto Castanon from Spain in Las Vegas, Nevada. Then August 21st, 1981, Salvador Sanchez wins in the 8th round. Referee stops the fight against Wilfredo Gomez from Puerto Rico. That was in Las Vegas, Nevada. December the 12th, 1981, Salvador Sanchez wins on points over 15 rounds against Pat Caldwell from England in Houston, Texas. May the 8th, 1982, Salvador Sanchez wins on points over 15 rounds against Rocky Garcia from the US. That was in Dallas, Texas. Then July 21st, 1982, Salvador Sanchez wins in the 15th round. Referee stops the fight against Azuma Nelson from Ghana in New York. Again, I had that on VHS. That was a cracking fight. Nelson, I think, coming in as a late substitute, if I remember. But again, that was his last fight. He's unfortunately killed in a car crash at 23 in August 1982. He was 23, I'm sure. Great loss to boxing. Yeah, such a young guy. September the 15th, 1982, Jean Laporte wins in the 10th round by retirement against Mario Miranda from Colombia in New York for the vacant title. Then February 20th, 1983, Jean Laporte wins on points over 12 rounds against Ruben Castillo in San Juan. Then June 25th, 1983, Jean Laporte wins in the 12th round. 12 rounds points decision. So let's go through them two. Again, February 20th, 1983, Jean Laporte wins on points over 12 rounds against Ruben Castillo in San Juan. And then June 25th, 1983, Jean Laporte wins on points over 12 rounds against Johnny De La Rosa from Dominican Republic in San Juan. So we go up to the next page. We start at the top there. So again, another cracking fighter, Wilfredo Gomez. So March the 31st, 1984, Wilfredo Gomez from Puerto Rico wins over 12 rounds on points. 12 rounds points decision, he wins. Wilfredo Gomez wins on points over 12 rounds against Jean Laporte. Over 12 rounds, that's in San Juan. And then December the 8th, 1984, Amazula Nelson, I had this fight on VHS as well, cracking fight, wins the 11th round, referee stops the fight against Wilfredo Gomez from San Juan. Then September the 6th, 1985, Amazula Nelson wins in the 5th round by KO against Joveno Ordonez from China. Miami, Florida, that was in. I remember this fight on TV. October the 12th, 1985. Azuma Nelson wins by KO in the 1st round in this country. I remember seeing that. Pat Caldwell. And that was in Birmingham, England. And so February 25th, 1986, Azuma Nelson wins on points over 12 rounds against Marcos Villasana from Mexico. Again, cracking chin Villasana and a banger, lanky banger, come for banger. Los Angeles, that was in. June 22nd, 1986, Azuma Nelson wins in the 10th round. Referee stops the fight against Danilo Cabrera from Dominican Republic in San Juan. March the 7th, 1987, Azuma Nelson wins by KO in the 6th round against Muriel Gutierrez from Mexico in Las Vegas, Nevada. Then August the 12th, say August 20 to 29th, 1987. Azuma Nelson wins on points over 12 rounds against Marcos Villasana. 12 rounds points decision, Los Angeles, that was in. Nelson relinquished the title in January 1988 to box at super featherweight. March the 7th, 1988, Jeff Fenech from Australia wins. Referee stops the fight against Victor Calajes from Puerto Rico. Three-time weight division champion Jeff Fenech. And again, he beats Calajes from Puerto Rico in Sydney, Australia for the vacant title. And then August the 12th, 1988, Jeff Fenech wins over 5 rounds. Referee stops the fight against Tyrone Downs from Barbados, I think. Melbourne, Australia, that was in. Then November the 30th, 1988, Jeff Fenech wins in the 5th round. Referee stops the fight against George Navarro from the US in Melbourne, Australia. Then April the 8th, 1989. Jeff Fenech wins on points over 12 rounds against Marcos Villasana. Jeff Fenech relinquishes the title because of weight problems. So June the 2nd, 1990, Marcos Villasana, I remember this fight, referee stops the fight against Paul Hodgkinson from Liverpool, England. That's in Manchester, England. That's for the vacant title. Again, September 30th, 1990, Marcos Villasana wins in the 8th round. Referee stops the fight against Javier Marquez from Mexico, in Mexico City, Mexico. April 11th, 1991, Marcos Villasana wins in the 6th round. Referee stops the fight against Rafael Zuniga from Colombia, Mexico City, Mexico. And August the 15th, 1991, Marcos Villasana wins on points over 12 rounds against Ricardo Capida from Puerto Rico in Marbella, Spain. And then Paul Hodgkinson, I remember this fight, again, this is when they're all on TV, all these fights from Hodgkinson. But again, the first fight, his eyes swelled up a lot, Hodgkinson, but he managed to, outbox Villasana in this one. March the 13th, 1991. Paul Hodgkinson wins on points over 12 rounds. Points decision. Marcos Villasana, and that was in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Yes, so April the 25th, 1992, Paul Hodgkinson wins in the 3rd round. Referee stops the fight against Stevie Cruz from the US. Again, ex-Barry opponent. Texas way, come from, I think, Belfast, Northern Ireland this was in. And then we got April 25th, 1992. Paul Hodgkinson wins. Oh, we got that one. September the 12th, 1992. Remember, all these fights are Hodgkinson. Wins in the 10th round. Referee stops the fight against Fabrice Benichou from France in Blagnac, France. And then February the 3rd, 1993, Paul Hodgkinson wins in the 4th round by retirement against Ricardo Capida in London, England. Then April 28th, 1993, Gregorio Vargas from Mexico wins in the 7th round by retirement against Paul Hodgkinson in Dublin, Ireland. So December the 4th, 1993, Kevin Kelly wins on points over 12 rounds against Gregorio Vargas from Reno, Nevada. Yeah, so he loses there Hodgkinson, that was in Dublin, Ireland. And then December the 4th, 1993, Kevin Kelly from the US wins on points over 12 rounds. 12 rounds points decision. You've got Gregorio Vargas and Reno, Nevada. Again, Kevin Kelly was one of the best fights I've seen. 4-round fight anyway. Again, it was a knockdown fest. And yeah, that was against Azim Mohammed. We'll come to that later. Lovely. So, where am I? So, May the 6th, 1994, Kevin Kelly wins on points over 12 rounds against Jesse Benavides from the US in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So, back to it. So, yeah, Kevin Kelly wins on points over 12 rounds, point decision against Jesse Benavides from the US. Then, January 7th, 1995, Alejandro Gonzalez from Mexico wins in the 11th round by retirement against Kevin Kelly in San Antonio, Texas. Then, March 31st, 1995, Alejandro Gonzalez wins on points over 12 rounds against Luis Espinoza from the US in Anaheim. Then June 2nd, 1995, Alejandro Gonzalez wins in the 9th round. Roughly stops the fight against Tony Green from the US in Ledyard. Then September the 23rd, 1995, Manuel Medina from Mexico. 5 times world champ. Again, 2 of my favourite fighters actually, Mexican fighters definitely, Filisana and Medina have already been mentioned, with the Japanese fighter Harada, but again I digress here. So, September the 23rd, 1995, Manuel Medina from Mexico wins on points over 12 rounds against Alejandro Gonzalez. 12 rounds points decision in Sacramento. December 11th, 1995, Luisito Espinoza from Philippines wins on points over 12 rounds against Manuel Medina in Tokyo, Japan. March the 1st, 1996, Luisito Espinoza wins by KO in the 4th round against Alejandro Gonzalez in Guadalajara, Mexico. 4-round KO for Espinoza. July the 6th, 1996, Luisito Espinoza wins on points over 12 rounds against Cesar Soto from Mexico in Manila, Philippines. Then, November the 2nd, 1996, Luisito Espinoza wins in the 8th round. Referee stops the fight against Nobutoshi Hironaka from Japan. That was in Fukuoka, Japan. March the 17th, 1997, Luisito Espinoza wins in the 8th round by a technical decision against Manuel Medina in Manila, Philippines. December the 5th, 1997, Luisito Espinoza wins in the 6th round. Referee stops the fight against Carlos Rios from Argentina in Coronado, Philippines. August the 15th, 1998, Luisito Espinoza wins by a technical decision 11th round against Juan Carlos Ramirez from Mexico in El Paso, Texas. November the 28th, 1998, Luisito Espinoza wins in the 2nd round. Referee stops the fight against Kennedy McKinney from the US in Indio. May the 15th, 1999, Cesar Soto wins on points against Luisito Espinoza from El Paso, Texas. So, come here. Yes, WBA title now. March 28th, 1968. Raul Rojas wins on points over 15 rounds against Enrique Higgins from Colombia in Los Angeles for the vacant title. Then September 1968, Shozo Siajo from Japan wins on points over 15 rounds against Raul Rojas in Los Angeles. February 9th, 1969, Shozo Siajo wins on points over 15 rounds against Pedro Gomez from Venezuela in Tokyo, Japan. September the 7th, 1969, Shozo Siajo wins by KO in the second round against Jose Luis Pimentel from Mexico in Sapporo, Japan. Then, okay, so that's in Sapporo, Japan. So from here, February the 8th, 1970, Shozo Siajo from Japan wins on points over 15 rounds against Godfrey Stevens from China, I think there. And that's in Tokyo, Japan. July the 5th, 1970, Shozo Siajo from Japan wins on points over 15 rounds against Frankie Crawford from the US in Sendai, Japan. February 28th, 1971. Shozo Siajo wins on points over 15 rounds against Frankie Crawford. That was in Utsunomiya, Japan. September the 2nd, 1971, Antonio Gomez from Venezuela wins. Referee stops the fight in the 5th round against Shozo Siajo from Japan in Tokyo, Japan. February the 6th, 1972, Antonio Gomez wins in the 7th round by KO against Raul Martinez from Mexico in Maracay, Venezuela. August 19th, 1972, Ernesto Marcel wins on points over 15 rounds against Antonio Gomez from Maracay, Venezuela. December the 3rd, 1972, Ernesto Marcel wins in the 6th round. Referee stops the fight against Enrique Garcia from Mexico in Panama City, Panama. Then July the 14th, 1973, Ernesto Marcel wins in the 11th round by retirement against Antonio Gomez in Panama City, Panama. Then September the 8th, 1973, Ernesto Marcel wins by KO in the 9th round against Spider Nemeto from Japan. 9th round KO in Panama City, Panama. Then February the 16th, 1974, Ernesto Marcel wins on points over 15 rounds against Alex Arguello from Nicaragua. Good win that in Panama City, Panama. Then that was for the then in May 1974, Ernesto Marcel retires. Then we have Ruben Oliveira. So July the 9th, 1974, Ruben Oliveira wins by KO in the 7th round against Sensuke Atagawa from Japan in Inglewood, California. And then November the 23rd, 1974, Alex Arguello wins by KO in the 13th round against Ruben Oliveira in Inglewood, California. March the 15th, 1975, Alex Arguello from Nicaragua wins in the 8th round. Referee stops the fight. It's Leonel Hernandez from Venezuela in Caracas, Venezuela. Then May the 31st, 1975, Alex Arguello wins in the 2nd round. Referee stops the fight. It's Rigoberto Riasco from Panama in Managua, Nicaragua. So, October the 12th, 1975, Alex Arguello beats the later Duran opponent, Royal Kobayashi, in the 5th round by KO. Kobayashi from Japan. That was in Tokyo, Japan, on his home ground. Then, June the 19th, 1976, Alex Arguello wins by KO in the 3rd round against Salvatore Torres from Mexico in Los Angeles, California, June 1976. Arguello gave up his WBA title due to weight problems. We went up and challenged Pryor, etc. January the 15th, 1977, Rafael Ortega from Panama wins on points over 15 rounds against Francisco Coronado from Nicaragua in Panama City, Panama, for the vacant title. Then May the 29th, 1977, Rafael Ortega wins on points over Flipper Ihara. I think it was from Japan, in Okinawa, Japan. December the 17th, 1977. Cecilio Lastra from Spain wins on points over 15 rounds against Rafael Ortega from Panama in Torrelavega, Spain. Lovely. And then, going to finish here on Eusebio Pedrosa. Again, one of the first fights he ever was allowed to stay up as a kid to watch. My parents went out as a babysitter. Was Eusebio Pedrosa from Wigan. Again, I digress there, but again, April 15th, 1978, Eusebio Pedrosa from Panama wins by KO in the 13th round against Cecilio Lastra from Panama City, Panama. Lovely. Going to start on his reign, Pedrosa, before he gets beaten by McGuigan. Bit of a long reign there. And that is the 3rd video of the featherweight boxing title history. Lovely. So I'm going to leave it there at the beginning of Eusebio Pedrosa's reign. Bit of a reign there he has. Again, cracking fighter from Panama. And again, April 15th, 1978, Eusebio Pedrosa wins the title, reigns for a while, wins by KO in the 13th round against Cecilio Lastra. That was in Panama City, Panama, on his home ground. Again, that's the end of the 3rd. And I think the next one will be the last, maybe. Bang.